Starting some assembly preparations, and you see how part 103 is missing? That part 103 is the impulse assembly, which is here on the Enterprise A kit. So I'm going to have to scavenge more than decals from the Enterprise A kit. I'm going to have to scavenge parts as well. Good news is the Enterprise A kit looks like it's complete. No missing parts. So it is going to be substituted for the other one. This is part of the reason why unboxing for me involves putting things into their proper bags so they don't get lost. And also, to fit it into this bag, I am going to be forced to take off the nubs on each side of these grill pieces here. The nubs that are getting in the way. There. That one. And that one. This one's good. At least I think it is. I think that... Oh, wait a minute. Let me take a look at the diagram. The assembly diagram, wherever it is. Alright, there's the assembly diagram, and now, side thing only. So, these are good. Side nubs are not. But you only have to trim out the outer side nubs. Like that one. And then you trim off that one. And this one. And this one. And that one. Oh, and the one at the edge. Yeah. So now we're going to test it, and it should fit into its bag better without any interference, because it's not as wide. See? Now it's fitting in there better. Try again. There you go. So get down. Well, that's the Enterprise A anyway. Alright, so let's prepare the parts for the Enterprise B. I mean the Rathacon refit. And another thing I'm doing, I'm going to give the clear parts a white primer before I paint them with their base coat. That way the color shows up more brightly. Good, I got it right. Yeah, I'm going to trim off all the little nubs now so that nothing goes wrong, because we don't want any screw-ups when I'm assembling. Clean up the part, which means you trim off this inner one as well. And that one. And this one. Good. And you do the same on here. So a little bit, just a little bit. There you go. Clean up the parts. And of course, as far as the blue I'm going to pick, well, wait, I don't have to pick the blue. If the decals hold together, I will use the 2004 A Creation ones. If they don't hold together, then I'm going to have to think of something, so give me 1 minute. As you can see, the light is flexible enough for me to pick. Well, you have two blues here, French blue and light blue. Light blue is slightly lighter, so that's about as light as I'm going to get in the Tamiya brand, and as you know, I don't like to use other paints. Now, I could, I suppose, use the coral blue for the deflector dish. That would make it kind of an aqua. Alright, so that's good for that, and we'll get back to where we were. Alright, back to the parts prep. So there shouldn't be too much more to prepare here. Just a couple more nubs to take off the nacelle grill. And it'll be all set. Okay, good. There's the impulse housing crystal, so that's part number 103. So now it's time to Sharpie up the parts, so I'll be back. Alright, so the parts are now have their Sharpie color. And another thing that'll help is these little nubs here. I have to get them off everything, so it's easier to get everything into the bag. Just don't accidentally take off the nacelle connection tabs. But you can take the tabs off everything else because they're just in the way. So there's that. That one isn't even connecting it to anything, so I don't need that one either. That might be a tab. That is. Those are window tabs. They plug in the Arboretum windows into the secondary hull. Remember how I told you the secondary hull is going to get a white primer? Or a matte white coat before it gets the AS5? So that means that I can start doing some preliminary assembly into the secondary hull of the windows before I paint the hull color. However, because it's going to be a lot easier than trying to cut them apart from this and get them in place. Yes, you're right. What is that? I got a part number I can't identify. Oh, 103. 104. Yes, you're right. I can start assembling some pieces. And I thought about 102 as well, didn't I? Yes, because I was going to... The whole point of doing this parts preparation was to test part 102 with one of the decals. So I'll be right back with that. Here we are. See those white windows? Well, of course, you won't see until everything's applied. But I want to see if, let's see, part 102, right? Well, if it's clear and you put the decal over it, the decal should show up in white. So I don't see any reason why I can't assemble that into the top of the saucer now and maybe test one of the trim decals. So I'm going to be right back. And of course I have to narrow down which set that decal goes for. Ah, there you go. Decal 54. So it is from the A Creation set. So I have to go to the main guide for the ship and color it orange because it's also an A Creation set. So here we go. A Creation. All right. Okay, so let's try the insertion of the decal and see how we do. I gotta go get the part. I will be right back. I can only risk this with the clear pieces. And now we have to be careful with the knife because we have to slice out any of this bridge decal that's in the way here. That's why I'm keeping my entire hand underneath the saucer, so I don't risk cutting my finger in any way. And I'm pointing away even from the hand I'm holding it in. Alright, so that's enough for that. Use a toothpick to get the decal out of the way. That was in the way there. Or the tweezers, if I can find them. Seem to have misplaced them briefly. Which is not a... Oh, there they are. Alright, here we go. grab the decal with the tweezers end. Well, it doesn't seem to want to go anywhere. It's not going away. Well, then we're just going to have to put the part in with the thing in the way. So, it wants to be in the way? Well, it's going to be in the way. Alright. What is that part number again? Part number 102. Alright. 102 is where? Right here. Okay, so I'll cut it out and try and put it in place. Won't snap into place properly, so I'm just going to cut off the pegs and glue it in place. Hope I don't have the same trouble with the Arboretum window. It pokes out, but it is in there, and I'm going to get at it from the underside as well. Okay, so that is an assembly piece. Assembly piece is colored purple on the assembly guide anyway. No, blue. The decal guide is the one that has different colors for decal sets. So part 102 doesn't need to be painted, and it's just assembled in place. Alright, now for the real test. I'll warm up the water. And while I wait for the water to warm up, I will do the other Arboretum windows. See if they work. That's lucky. There are hanging sections in here where you can put the Arboretum windows. Parts 106 and 107, which are those two. So I'm going to cut them off the sprue tree and see if I can assemble them in place. I'll be back if I'm successful. Well, either way. There's one in. Just had to fix the nubs a little bit. That's good. You can put it in before you even assemble the part. That's great. And then it'll get the gray primer. It'll get the same white primer as the hull. I mean, the matte white. And then you go from there. Okay. So now we do part 107 on the other side. Again, taking off those little nubs because I can't get it in place with them in the way. That's the same trouble I had with the Back to the Future DeLorean. So you just shorten the nubs a little tiny bit. Just enough to get that hook thing out of there. Then you can get the part in place. And of course, you go at the part from the back with the glue to hold it in place. All right. Now, let's see which way it goes in this time. Am I putting it in the right side away from the beginning? Or does it have to go in the other way? Yeah. All right. All right. Just a little more trimmed off, just the tiniest bit. All right, let's go this way. That's flush. So you just glue it from the other side because you took off the hook tabs, but that's what the glue is for. Don't worry, you're gluing on the inside so it won't get in the way. There you go. So those Arboretum windows are glued in place, so they should stay in place for the painting. Now, that's not the only assembly step you can do. You can assemble the entire neck and its torpedo launcher. It's not required to have them apart to get it into the secondary hull. So, we can do that as well. I'll be back with that. So you still have enough to grip on when it's time to spray paint them. And they're more narrow to fit in the bag, hopefully, beside each other. Just like that. Good. And they'll stay flat in the bag. and they'll be able to be assembled properly. Good. There you go. All right. Don't need any more of the clear parts, but I'm going to take the neck apart, put it together. Oh, wait, you do need one more clear part, 104. I'll be back. This marks the first time I've ever tried assembling a piece as well. Now, the torpedo launcher itself, it has to be colored black. But I mean, if you prime it, you'll be able to see it a lot easier, so. I'll paint it black by hand. That'll be the smart way to do that. So you got the part there, right near where it's mentioned. Once again, I'm going to take off the little hooks. There seem to be 2 little hooks. That's strange. There should only be 1. I don't know. We're going to find out. Cut it off its parts and find out. Never thought I'd be doing preliminary assembly today, but I'm glad I am. And don't take off these nubs. Just cut right there. No further. And then along the top, no further than that. And I think these little hooks here are significant for fitting into the bottom of the saucer once the neck is together. Just hope it doesn't mess up the Aztec decals trying to get it in there, but that's why they're microsoled in place. So hopefully that won't happen. Good, there you go. Yeah, 6 years ago Zach helped me assemble this, but this time I'm here all alone, no one else to help me build, so we'll see how this goes, of course. All right. Okay, so apparently you have to pit the 2 pieces of the neck together and fit the torpedo piece in between them at the same time. Fortunately, these have rods and pegs, so that hopefully will not be a problem. No, you have to align them correctly, of course. Oh, come on. Come on now. I mean, I know it's a snap fit kit, but honestly, fit in place. Come on. Don't make me, oh, good. There you go. See? Now, torpedo tube should fit right in there before the 2 halves are together. Good. And then, there you go. Of course, you might have to do some gluing in there because the neck isn't quite together yet, is it? But let's try back here. Ah, that's better. Good. Now, before anything tries to fall out, like the torpedo tubes, get the glue in it from the very bottom edge. Back there, here, back here, inside the neck itself. So this is where the clamping is going to come in handy. So I'll go get the clamps and I'll be back. All right, the clamps are engaged. The torpedo tube managed not to fall through. And now it's time to reapply some glue in all the connecting sections. So there, here, all the way inside, from underneath the back neck, you see, which might need its own clamp. Let's see if I can manage to do that. Let's use some of these other clamps that I have here and hope that that holds. Approach it from underneath. Tilt that. There. Got it. And don't worry, any glue smudging will be covered up by the primer. Good. Good, good, good. All right. All right. So, neck is assembled. Torpedo launcher is in place. It's part 104. Okay, that's good. That's very, very good. So you can now say that step 6 of assembly is complete. That is a great thing for the model, actually. And I'm marking up the guide just like I would with the model car. All right. Good, 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 good. Of course, they haven't been painted yet. That will come later. So, let's check on the back of the saucer. Here we go. So I think now we're ready to do the saucer section assembly. I mean, decal application. So we'll set the neck aside and go from there. Now, because the neck, you can see the part I'm using for May Creation. Of course, I'll be using those two as well. So I have to cut it in half for it to work properly, because it's too big a piece to attempt in one section. So I'm going to cut it in half at the front edge, and we'll see if that works. And having glued in the part with the glue from the back, hopefully I'll be okay. I'll let you know. It is my hope that by leaving the part clear, that the white windows will fall nicely over top of it, and it'll be aligned properly. In a smaller scale than 537, it's a lot easier to get these aligned correctly, especially when the hull is nice and smooth. And I'm just cutting as close as I can without, I don't want to get rid of a red stripe. Ooh, ooh, oh, that was close. Okay, cut up the inner ridge and I'll be back. You know, I've been very pleased. Whatever they did with the A Creation decals between 2004 and whenever they released the colored set, they really improved their glue and everything, so they hold together very well, and as well as the polar lights. Okay, so a short there, and you've got the water standing by, so you soak them both in the water. Put the wet Q-tip along the side here, even on to the clear piece, all the way around, and hope and pray. Of course, you got to mark it on both guides, but I've already marked it on both guides, what I'm planning to apply. A couple I haven't applied yet, but I will. I chose, oh, and none of that was even recording. Well, I guess that's a good thing. That decal is safely applied, so it, maybe that's the battery coming out, but it joins in front, and it joins at the back, and the white does show up because I left the part clear. So I'm going to leave it alone and take the while I still have some light. And the phone's just almost out of battery, not out of room this time, so there. 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 And there. And the picture of the neck is going to have to wait till the morning.